If you are a solopreneur and you are just exhausted from performing, from pivoting, from pretending that the version of your business that you've built up to this point still fits, and it has you secretly asking yourself, should I just get a job again? Not because you feel like you need to go back, but because you feel like you need breathing room, that you're ready for a change, but you just can't cold stop your income from coming in, but you don't know what else to do. This video is for you. Because if I had to start over, not from scratch emotionally, but from a place where momentum has stalled out and my income was too inconsistent to keep faking it, there was one path and one path alone that I would choose. And if you're new here, this is part 2 of a 4-part video series I'm titling If I Had to Start Over. I thought it would be a fun series to create. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when I post the next video. So if I had to start over and I started to consider going back to a job, but I didn't really want to go back to a job, I needed a side hustle, some type of consistent income stream, even in the current role of my business because I still have clients and deliverables, and I was in professional services, I would choose fractional work, not freelance, not another offer. I would not work on another marketing funnel. I would choose fractional work, and I would take on 1 to 2 clients where I could bring my brilliance and expertise into someone else's business without sacrificing my own or my income. And I know that not only would it still align with me giving value, but it would afford me the breathing room to figure out my next move. And in today's video, I want to give you 5 reasons I would make that fractional move. Again, especially if you're already a solopreneur in professional services and you are just tired and need to start to regroup and rethink what to do next. Reason number 1, you're already working at this level, you just haven't positioned it. If you have ever managed a launch, managed a project, cleaned up operations, created client systems, or been the one person holding everything together in your corporate role, or maybe for a client right now, you, my friends, are already functioning at a fractional level. You just haven't packaged it as such. You're not focused on tasks, you are driving outcomes, right? And fractional roles are built around functions, operations, hiring, strategy, marketing, growth, delivery. And they exist because of many founders, especially in the startup space, they don't need a full-time employee. They need trusted partners who can focus and drive specific lanes part-time, but in a powerful and meaningful way. Most solopreneurs don't even realize this is an option, and it's one you're already likely qualified for. The reason number 2, it gives you structure without giving up your freedom. After a few years of doing everything yourself, freedom doesn't always feel free. And if you're really a full-time entrepreneur or solopreneur, you get that. It feels like spinning, overthinking, being responsible for every single decision alone. One of the things that I loved about fractional work is it's not that rigid corporate schedule that you left behind, but it's the kind of opportunity where you know where your role is, you know what your role is, you know what you're being paid for, who you were supporting, when to show up, and it gave you the freedom to close your laptop. And yes, it's still flexible, it's still remote, you are still able to work with multiple clients, you're still available for your family, your social life, your own opportunities and offers, and it's still supporting your long-term vision. Fractional work isn't about going backwards. It's really about finding stability inside of someone else's business without abandoning your dreams and your vision, allowing yourself the breathing room to figure out your next move. There's a freedom in that space. And if the idea of getting a job, going back to corporate appeals to you, of course, if that's what you feel called to do, do that. You should not explore full-time entrepreneurship if you feel as if it doesn't make sense for you any longer. I am simply saying, if you know that you want to stay in this freedom space, but you haven't figured it out just yet, fractional work can give you the freedom and the income and the flexibility. Reason 3, it's a really smart path for a solopreneur mom or parent who can't pause your income, but you know you're on the verge of a pivot. Everything I share with you is my lived experience. It's not theory. It's not something I think could work for you. It's something I'm telling you I've done tried and true over and over again. So when I tell you, there was a moment when I knew what I was doing was no longer it, especially when I was in the thick of caregiving for both my 2 toddlers and my mom before she passed. But I knew that I couldn't stop. I could not just take 6 months off to figure it out. And I could not pretend that the way that I was functioning at that time made sense for me, even though it was paying bills. For me, fractional work gave me a graceful in-between, a way to keep earning well without going and having to Instacart or Uber or whatever other side hustles are out there when you find you're in these in-between stages financially, without selling your soul and without rushing your next move only to regret it. I didn't want to rebrand. I didn't want a new niche. I didn't want a new offer. I just needed space. I needed margin, and fractional work gave that to me. And if you are just like I was at one point, straddling between what's not working and what's next, fractional work can give you the clarity and the capacity to make your next move clearly. Reason number 4, it's not freelancing, and that really is an important distinction. We have to really be clear on this. Freelancers are paid to do a task, design this, write that, send this, right? Fractionals, on the other hand, are hired to drive and own a result. You embed yourself into a business to lead to a specific destination. And that may look like project or operations management, marketing coordination, clients retention strategy, hiring and onboarding, executive support with systems and structure. This isn't a side gig. These truly are high value roles and respected roles within that organization. And for those people who may be familiar with fractional work, they may believe that it's limited to only CFOs or CMOs or CHROs. And that's not the case. You just need to have the experience, the presence, right? And the clarity to be able to communicate your value. And if you've done any of this for yourself or others or in your corporate role for years, this is a higher value way to get compensated for it. Reason number 5, fractional work can help you to rebuild your confidence if you are tired of performing. There's no content calendar. It's not going to rely on your personal brand. You don't have to have this pressure to be on every single day. You can communicate your boundaries. You can get alignment and agreement with what your schedule looks like. But it's also going to remove that pressure that a lot of us feel to be on all the time in order to prove that you're still relevant. Fractional work can really remind you that you are still very much powerful when you're in this season that's doubtful and has you second guessing and questioning all the decisions you made, not just about your life and your business, but yourself. If you're used to being at home, working by yourself, maybe working on the quiet side with clients who you can't really relate to about all the things that are going on in your life, and maybe you miss the feeling of being a part of a team or miss the feeling of catching up or co-designing a project or having a partner with a decision, and you maybe are interested in being a part of something stable without being required to build it or being consumed by it. Fractional work may be the very next move that your nervous system is looking for. And if this started to spark something in you, or you already know this and you just need to start taking action toward it, I invite you to join me inside my Grit Sprint Challenge. And it's a 3-day challenge to help solopreneur parents to rebuild your clarity, courage, and action, even if you haven't had any momentum in a long time. And as a bonus, I include my case study, a PDF case study that I share with you all the nitty-gritty details of how I landed 4 new clients in 5 days. I break it down. I didn't use social media. I didn't use ads. I talked about it in the previous video, and it's a strategy, a tried and true outreach strategy that I've done time and time again that doesn't require me to have a big following or to have to get in front of a camera every single time I want to promote something or find a new client. Because my friend, you don't need another idea. You just need movement, and you need to take action. So if this sounds interesting to you, click the link below to learn more. In the next video, I'm going to share with you what I would do to get to $1,000 in the next week. If you haven't already, make sure to click subscribe and notification so that you know the notification bell so that you know when I post the next video. Thank you so much for watching.